Okay, so today we will be starting about the structure of the flower. In the flower, you have a terms, certain biological terms. You have facing some problems like what are polycephalus, gamocephalus. So all this we will be discussing the biological terms. Okay, give me 1 second. So I'll be sharing the screen share. Now be ready. So today's chapter I'll be discussing about the flowering plants, the flower. Just 1 second. I am disconnecting again. Okay, I hope you are able to see and hear me well. So, today we'll be discussing about the flowering plants, the flower, chapter 6. So, certain biological terms you are confused with this chapter. So, we will discuss about the holes first, okay? So, certain stamens or petals or any kind of gynoecium or androecium, they are placed in the certain areas, okay? So, in the first hole, that is calyx, corolla, second hole, third hole, androecium, fourth hole, gynoecium, okay? So, these are the respective holes. And if it is epicalyx is there, okay? If there is epicalyx, epicalyx means what? Just below the sepals, okay? Below the calyx. So this epicalyx is there, then if the epicalyx will be first hole, and second hole will be calyx. Then third hole will be androecium, fourth hole will be gynoecium. Okay. 1 second, I forgot to. I have recorded only 1 second. Okay, just I want to check it whether you were able to. Okay. So certain, I was telling about the chapter, the flowering plants, the flower. So in this chapter, you are going to learn certain terms, biological terms, like new terms. For in the class 9, you will study new terms. We have studied in the earlier classes very different common names like calyx, sepals, then petals, corolla, then androecium and gynoecium. So all these terms are very old to you. But certain terms like monoecious, dioecious, epicalyx, all these terms are very new to you. So let's revise once more this chapter. So you can see here in the biological terms of flower, there are 4 holes. Okay, in the bisexual flower you have, that is hermaphrodite flower. So in the hermaphrodite flower, epicalyx is the first hole. If there is present in some of the flowers, there will be epicalyx. Otherwise, most of the common flowers, you will see first hole, okay, that is calyx. Then corolla, then third hole, androecium, then gynoecium, fourth hole. You know all these functions and structure we have discussed earlier. So now I'll be moving on. So these are the certain terms, what we call here receptacle, peduncle. So all these terms we must know how before starting the new terms. You have to know all these terms. That is receptacle. Where is receptacle located? That is at the end of the calyx. The calyx where sits on the receptacle, right? So that peduncle you can see, sepals, petals. So all these terms, it's not new to you. But one thing, what is peduncle? There is one more word that is pedicel also. Peduncle, another word is pedicel. That is pedicel, okay. So pedicel means it is the stalk of the flower. It is the stalk of the flower, okay. And stalk of the leaf, what do we say? That is petiole. So these two difference don't confuse, pedicel and petiole. Pedicel means the stalk of the flower. Stalk of the flower means the stem, the stalk which attaches the flower to the stem, okay. Here this is stem for example, and here it is flower. So this is called pedicel, okay. And in the leaf, for example, here one stem is there, then here leaf. So what is petiole? Petiole is the stalk between the stem and the leaf. Okay, so that's the difference between petiole and pedicel. Now, what do you understand by complete and incomplete flowers? Complete and incomplete flowers. Complete flowers means they are called perfect flowers, and incomplete flowers means they are called imperfect flowers. Complete flowers, they can be imperfect sometimes, okay, but imperfect flowers, they can never be complete. So let's understand about the complete and incomplete flower. Complete flower, they are also called perfect flowers, and incomplete flowers, they are also called incomplete flowers or imperfect flowers, okay. So they are called imperfect. But what about complete flowers? Complete flowers means they are called perfect flowers. Perfect flowers. So these differences you have to understand between perfect and imperfect flowers. Now, so other name we have discussed. Now, what is complete flower? Complete flower means they are possessing all the floral characters as well as the reproductive organs. Means all the four sets, that is calyx, petals, then androecium, gynoecium. So all these four sets, they are not missing in this flower. So that's called complete flower, okay. So in this complete flower, you can see all the four sets are present here. And in this incomplete flower, okay, it can either be pistillate or it can either be staminate. Pistillate flower means the flower that possesses female parts. So I have already mentioned what are the female parts. The female parts are just either we call pistil, or either we call carpel, or either we call gynoecium. So these three terms, okay. So in this female part, when we study the whole this part, okay, that is carpel. That is reproductive organ, female reproductive organ. So in the pistillate flower, you can see only female part. Other floral sets will be present, that is corolla will be present, sepals are present, except the male part will be here missed out. So that's called pistillate flower. So this pistillate flower, you can see the pistil. This pistil are again divided into three parts. That is a stigma, style and ovary. There are three parts. Okay, so it can be either pistillate or it can be either staminate. For example, papaya plant, palm plant. So all these they have separate sexual flowers. Either they can male or can be female. So that's called complete and incomplete flowers. So you can see here contains 4 flower parts. That's called complete flower. Okay, and incomplete flowers means they are missing one or more of these 4 parts. They are also called imperfect flowers. Now let's see next one, essential and non-essential parts of the flower. So which are essential means, as you all know, they are important parts of the flower, and non-essential means non-important, means not so important. So you can guess it what, out of the 4 parts of the flower, main parts are reproductive organs. So you can say androecium and gynoecium are important parts, while the rest, that is petals, sepals, they are not so important parts, because they are meant only for what, attracting the insects to come near the flower. But androecium and gynoecium, they are mainly meant for fusion of the what we call male gamete and female gamete to form the diploid zygote. Then only seeds can form, and again another plant can be produced from the seeds. So this flower, we say it is the essential part of the plant, which is mainly leading to new generations. Okay, but the essential parts are also divided. So here you can see androecium, gynoecium, non-essential parts, calyx and corolla. Okay, so here I have mentioned essential parts, they are the most important. The non-essential parts, sepals and petals. Okay, so here the anther and filament means, here the male parts, this is anther and this is filament. So this is called stamen. Okay, either stamen or it is called androecium. Then in the female reproductive organ, you will see like this is stigma, style, then here ovary, then here stigma. So this one whole thing that we call female part, that is called gynoecium. So finally we can say essential parts are mainly the reproductive parts, and non-essential parts are just corolla, sepals, all these are non-essential parts. Now what is perianth? Perianth means both together, that is corolla and the sepals. So they look mostly different in all the flowers. That is, sepal looks green, normal plant you will see sepals look green, and petals look colorful, any of the varied colors. So in natural plant we see in that way, but in perianth you will see sometimes the petals will look like sepals and sepals will look like petals. Okay, so let's see that difference. So here in some plant, this white color you can see, they are also what we call sepals, but they look like a petals. So sepals are what we say green in color. So when the petals are also green in color, so we cannot distinguish between two. So they are called as sepaloid. And petaloid means when the petals, what we call, are little bit colorful. Normally petals are colorful, right? But in this case, what we call sepals will also be looking like a petals, colorful. So we cannot distinguish these two. So that's called, they are called petaloid. So let's see the difference. So in this case, you can see the flowers. Let me put the calendar also. Yeah. So you can see flowers without a calyx and corolla differentiated. Means you cannot differentiate the which is petals and which is corolla. And this petals plus what we call calyx plus petals, okay, they are called what we call tepals. One second. So here calyx, you can see calyx plus petals is equal to, means both are equal to tepals. We also call tepals, okay, that is the short form. So in parent only you will see tepals. So you can see finally what are petalled flowers. Petalled means when sepal resemble the petals. So sepals looks like colorful like the petals. So for example, lily, anemone, hellebore. So you have seen lily flower, most common flower. So in that case, you will see somewhat sepals are looking like colorful petals. It's not green color. So as I have shown in the previous picture, white color. So that is lily flower. Then sepaloid means when petals resemble the sepals. So sepaloid means what? That is green color. Okay, so when the petal also looks green color, so that's called sepaloid. So examples are also given. Amborella, Trumania have the green petals that resemble sepals. So this can be considered as an example of sepaloid flowers. Okay, now let's see about what is the bract. Okay, what do you understand by bract? So here, what is a bract? Bract means just a layer which is present above the what we call leaf and below the flower. So it can be set between the flower and the leaf. Okay, so let's see the example here. So in the petaloid, sorry, this I have moved it out. So in the bract, the simple answer is that it is the part that's found above the leaves but below the flower. Now simple flowers, when you see commonly, you can see the bract somewhere below the sepals, right? Mostly you can see calyx and everything, but bract is not visible, but it is just below the sepals, okay? You can see here completely the difference here, that is in just below the what we call flowers, that is below the sepals, okay? That is called bract. And this is something different kind of what we call floral diagram showing the main axis relative to the flower. So when you study in graduation and all, you will get lot of diagram works. That is, whenever you identify the flower, you have to draw this. This is a floral diagram. Means like here it is bract, okay? Outer hole. This is the outer hole. There are two bracts. So that's why they are drawing two bracts, outer hole. Then again, next is second, what we call second hole. This is second hole. Okay, so this is maybe epicalyx. Okay, so epicalyx are found in 5 number or 6 number here. And next is what we call, this is called petals. Sorry, calyx, sepals. After epicalyx comes, right? So this is calyx. Then comes petals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if there are 5 petals, you will put as a 5 here. Okay. Then if you find androecium as numerous, then you have drawn here numerous androecium. Then inside it is what we call gynoecium. And inside, almost inner core of the pattern, you'll find here the placentation. Placentation means the ovules are arranged how in the ovary. So that is the visibility shown here. So this one I am not going to, it's not in the syllabus. But when you come to degree time, the graduation time, lot of floral diagram you have to make. When you are talking about angiosperms, angiosperms means flowering plants. So in the angiosperms, lily, sunflower, you will see. So all this you have to collect and count those, how many petals and calyx are there, and you have to make the floral diagram like this. So it's very interesting, but it takes time. We have to use a compass, and it has to be very neat diagram. Okay, so that you leave aside. So here you can see floral diagram showing the main axis relative to the flower. This is a cross section. Just you look at cross sectional view and of the floral holes. Then number 3, you can see here the bract. So small bract which is present at the axil of the leaf. Means here leaf is present, then here it will produce the bract. Okay. So at the axil of the leaf. So most of the flowers it's like that. But in bougainvillea flower, you can see the difference. Like flowers, like small flowers are there. Okay. And here you can see the bracts, very big bract, pink color. So this bract is very colorful. Okay, this is very colorful. Actually, it is the what we call leaf, but it looks like a colorful petal. So that's why we say this petals sepals leaves looks like a petal. Okay, so that's why it is called petaloid. So in this case, why they are so colorful? They are so colorful so that the insects will come to see the small flower. Small flower, when they see, the insects will never be attracted. They will even not mind even the small flowers. When they see the big flower like sunflower or any big flower, then they will come near to this one. But this is very small flower, so the leaves have to be colorful and make them attractive. And it is not a leaf, I've said, this is a bract. Bract means just below the flower and above the leaf. Their exact location when the bract is asked, you have to mention that is just below the flower and above the leaf. And mainly what is the purpose of bract? That is for pollination. So you will write that's for pollination. Okay, so this is what is bract. Okay, the next is staminate flower. I've already explained, that is a flower plant which have the male flowers. They are called staminate flowers. And the flower which have the female plant, they are called pistillate flowers. So in the pistillate flowers, this is the definition I have written here. Staminate flower means, like example, papaya and palm. Okay, papaya and palm mostly they are either male or female. So that's why they are called here. In this case, staminate flower, mostly papaya, you will see staminate flowers, male flowers. But it does not mean that only male flowers will be visible, because papaya is a polygamous plant. They can be found in 3 basic types of flowers. That is staminate, pistillate and hermaphrodite. Staminate means male flowers, okay, and pistillate means female flowers, and hermaphrodite means both sex, male and female plant. So you cannot say that yes, this papaya we heard that it is a male plant, but there are female plant also. So in this case, some plants will be hermaphrodite. Okay, but you can see the staminate flowers in papaya also, individual as an individual flower plant. Okay, so that's the example. Papaya you can give, or definitely then palm also you can give the example of what is staminate flowers. Then pistillate flowers means like chrysanthemum, cucumber, eggplant, squash. Squash you might be eating as a curry or pickle. Some of them make pickle also, squash. So all this come under pistillate flowers. But one thing you keep in mind, cucumber, we say pistillate flower also, even in the stamen, hermaphrodite also we can say, because both male and female part can be occurred in the cucumber plant. Okay, so this differences, but best example I have given you papaya and palm here, and here the best example you give eggplant also, and chrysanthemum, cucumber, all these examples, good examples I have written here. Okay, now what is neuter flower? So neuter flower, we have studied that. Neuter means neuter gender, you might have heard, neither male or female. Like sometimes what we call in the plant also there is neuter flower. That means they miss both of the female and male plant, male part of the plant. So they are called what we call neuter gender, neuter flower. Okay. The human beings we say neuter gender, so same way in the plant also there is, but it will be counted in the sunflower itself. Okay, in the sunflower there are two types, that is ray floret. Okay, this one part. Then second part is disc floret. So in the ray floret you can see the petals. Here the petals are ray floret, distributed nicely in yellow color. Those are ray florets. And you can see here disc florets. Okay, here inside those are disc florets. So we cannot count the disc florets as the neuter flower. Neuter flower is only considered as which one? That is what we call disc floret. Okay. So here disc floret is there. So disc floret, they are called what male or female part they can occur. So we cannot say disc floret as the neuter flower. This flower parts which is ray floret, they are called what we call neuter flower. Okay. Then at the end of the class I will be asking you whether you understood or not. The next topic, that is Gamocephalus and Polycephalus. So in the Gamocephalus, gamo means fused. Okay, gamo means fused. I have already explained earlier that what is gamo. Then poly means free. Okay, so in the Polycephalus, you can see here what is sepals are free. Here the sepals are free. Okay. Here the sepals are free like this. But in fused ones, gamo, there you will find like it is fused. Okay. Here it is not separated. Here it is completely fused. So that's why it is drawn like this. So we can say here this is gamo and here it is poly. So gamo means fused, poly means free. And when sepals comes, then it is the matter of sepals. When sepals are fused, then we call it gamocephalus. When the sepals are free, they are called polycephalus. And based on corolla now, based on the petals, then you will say gamopetalous. Okay, and that is fused petals, and here petals are free, completely free. So that's called polypetalous. Okay. Now you can see here the differences here. Gamocephalus, that is flowers with fused sepals. Examples, that is hibiscus. So you can see the flower here. Here petals are free, right? Here all the petals are free. So this is polypetalous. So polypetalous is found in China rose flower, Hibiscus rosa sinensis. So polypetalous, when the petals are free, that is called polypetalous. Then here you can see now the sepals. The sepals are fused, only at the end it is free. So that is called what? Gamo. When it is fused, we call gamo. So this is gamosepalous. Okay. So this is the difference. So when you find, give the example of polycephalus, fused sepalus, you take the example of China rose flower, and polypetalous China rose flower. Same example will come. Okay. Now this is one of the example. We call this one as periwinkle. This is periwinkle flower, and the scientific name I'll be writing here. Scientific name also you must know, that is Catharanthus roseus. Okay, so these are the scientific name. So this Catharanthus roseus, or we call periwinkle or vinca rose, we call this as vinca rose. Vinca rose, that is common name, okay, English name, vinca rose, and this is scientific name, Catharanthus roseus. So this periwinkle, you can see petals are free. So you can give this example also. And calyx here, sepals here, it is like nothing is visible here. That is fused. See. So you identify the flowers, different flowers, you can look at it and you can understand which is polypetalous and which is polycephalus. And rose also is one of the example, what we call the free sepals, the flowers with free sepals. So you can have so many roses in the garden, you check there which are the free petals and all. Okay, so finally I'll be moving to the next. Now this gamosepalous examples which I have just now shown, that is hibiscus and periwinkle. So they have a sepals fuse as I've shown now, and polycephalus means when the sepals are free. Okay, in that case rose I don't have right now in the garden, so you can see the rose and find out whether the sepals are free. Okay, and you can check it. But in the gamosepalous, both I have shown you, hibiscus as well as periwinkle. Then flowers with fused petals. When the petals are fused, that is bindweed and elderberry. And polypetalous, they are rose. So it shows that in the rose, both the stamens and petals are free. So both are poly. So you can give the example of rose here. Now let's see this one. What is bindweed and elderberry? How does it look like? The flowers with the fused petals. So that is gamopetalous. So this is somehow it looks like gamopetalous, bindweed. This is bindweed, and this is elderberry. So they are their petals are fused. So you can see clearly here the petals are fused. Okay, that is gamopetalous. Gamopetalous. Okay. Now next comes to monoecious plant and dioecious plant. Monoecious plant means when the same plant grows, flowers are in both the sexes, then it is called monoecious plant. Means both the male and female part are present in the same plant, and they don't have separate individual flowers. Same plant means both male and sex plant, male and female sex organs, it should be present in both. So that's called monoecious, in one, means present in one plant. And dio means present in two plants, that is staminate separate and pistillate flowers separate. Staminate means male flowers, and pistillate female flowers. So they are different in different plants. So that is the meaning of dioecious plants. And before explaining this one, this papaya, sometimes you want to know maybe that how to identify the male and female. Okay, when you want to identify which is male and female, female plants, they bloom very fast. They bloom very fast and they will produce the flower. But in the case of male plant, they bloom longer time and also, but they will not produce the fruit. Means both of them bloom, okay, both of them bloom, but male is for longer time, female is for shorter period. And even if you see the bloom in the male plant, there is no fruit produced. And in the female plant, the fruit is produced. You can see the papaya fruit. So these are female plants, okay. Next is cohesion of stamens. So stamens, they can be fused. All the fused means in the which sense? You have already studied, that is in the anther. Anther we call, this is knob-like structure. This we call anther, okay. And this is filament. Fine. So this anther and filament, cohesion happens. Cohesion means fusion. So when attraction between their either filaments or between the anther. So attraction can be between the filaments of the stamens, different stamens, or 4 or 5 stamens or 2 stamens, and attraction can be even between the anthers. Means here only between the anthers they can attach, and here filaments will be separated, okay. So in various ways you will find, or either the attachment cohesion can be with both the anthers and filaments. As you can see here difference, that is here this is China rose flower ka example hai, okay. Here you can see all the stamens, I mean filaments here. This is filament is this is style, and here filament. Filament is small like this filament, then anther. So they are free, right? But these filaments are attached at one end. Filaments are attached at one end. So they are called monoadelphous. So when the filaments of the stamen are fused in one, they are called monoadelphous. And in Diadelphus, you can see out of here there are 10 stamens. Example, you take the P example. In Diadelphus, you can take example of P. So in the P, out of 10 stamens, one stamen will be free. So where they are attached here, the filaments you can see they are free here, but only one is here free. Okay, let me draw once, okay. And here, okay, here one is free. And here all the stamens are united in one. This is one bundle, okay, this is second bundle. So that's why it is called Diadelphus. Adelphus means brothers. So brothers of stamens, okay. So this you will see in the example of pea plant. Pea plant, out of 10 stamens, one will be free. So they are in 2 bundles. Then in bombax you will see bombax flower. In bombax flower, Polyadelphus we say. So in the Polyadelphus, they will be found in clusters, that is in groups. So here 1 group, here 2 group, here 3 group, here 4 group. So more than 2 bundles. When the grouping happens more than 2, they are called Polyadelphus. And they will be found in bombax plant. So this is bombax plant. This is Polyadelphus. Okay. Somewhat looks like red color petals or yellow. Then other way, which is not in the syllabus, this you can see the filaments are, anthers are attached here. See, only anthers. In the syllabus, only filaments we are talking about, right? Here you can see syngenesious. Anthers are attached, means they are in one bundle, right? And here you can see even the anthers are fused together and filaments are also fused together, and they are called cynandrous. Okay. The next is, so this main thing, what is cohesion of the stamens, understand it. The union of stamens when take place among themselves is called as cohesion. So the fusion of stamens with each other, they are called cohesion. And there are main three types of stamen fusion. Either it can be filament fusion, anther fusion, or fusion with both filament and anther. Okay. Now what's last point? Polyandrous. What is polyandrous? Polyandrous means when the stamens are free, they are called polyandrous. Okay. So these two differences at least understand, polyandrous and Polyadelphus. So it was asked in the exam and some of them were not able to answer it. Adelphus, I have said fusion of stamens, many stamens, okay. And polyandrous means free stamens. Free, many stamens are free in one flower. So that's called polyandrous. Okay. Shall we stop sharing the screen? Okay, so I hope you have understood it. Please, of this chapter. Yes, Niket, any doubt? Sony, any doubt you have? Sanjita,
Yes, ma'am.
any doubt?
No,
Yeah, any
ma'am.
doubt you have now? Okay. So revise this chapter. I'll be taking the test in the next, even there is unit test, I'll be taking the class and I'll be asking you questions in the next. In the next class, I'll be not teaching you. I'll be asking questions to you and revise only 3-4 chapters I've given to you. So revise very well. And inflorescence presentation, I'll be discussing little bit for 10 minutes. After that, I'll be doing the test in the next session. Okay. Then
Okay,
thank you,
ma'am.
students.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.